Good morning. So just two students, three. Okay, it's better than zero, right? Okay, today we continue with simple interest and its applications. Any questions you might have before we start? Okay. No, it's not. 1, 2, 3, 4. Week 5 test. Week 5, guys. Now it's week 4. Okay. Oh, you're confusing me. You're confusing me. Why? Okay, let me double check. One, two. Yeah, week 5. Week 5 next week. Next week is test Wednesday. Yeah, test, not text. Okay, so simple interest. What we know so far. We know interest is PRT. Right? That's R. PRT. Okay. P is I over RT. R is I over PT, and T is I over PR. Also, we know that S is P plus I, right? So P is S minus I S minus P. Okay, so if I combine these two together, I will have S is P 1 plus RT. That's the future value formula, right? Now, if I combine these two together, I will have R is S minus P over PT. Okay, this formula we will use when time comes. These two together, T is S minus P over PT. Okay, then if I solve future value formula for P, I will have present value formula. Right? And alternatively, you can use a fractional format, which is S 1 plus RT. Okay, questions, guys? Any questions? We have a couple more rules to learn. So, dated values. I put something here for you. Let's just read. If an amount of money is subject to rate or interest, it will grow over time. We all know that, right? Does the value of the amount of money change with time? Indeed, $1,000 today and $1,000 10 years ago is two different $1,000, right? They have different buying power. This change is known as the time value money. So from now on, we understand that money have different value in time. For example, you invest 1,000 today, 4% PA simple interest, a value 1,000 today, 1,010 in 3 months, 1,020 in 6 months, 1,040 in 1 year. Okay, the value of the original amount at any particular time is dated value or equivalent value. So other words, 1,000 today, 1,010 in 3 months, 1,020 in 6 months, and 1,040 in 1 year. Those are equivalent values. Okay. So the dated value combines the original sum of the interest earned up to the dated value date. So each dated value at different time is equivalent to original amount of money. Okay, so yeah, interest, so 1,000 plus 10, 1,000 plus 20 plus 40. So any questions, guys? Any questions? So now let's see how it's work. Here we have to learn how to choose appropriate formula. So let's pretend that's the timeline T, right? It flows from left to right. Yes or no, guys? So if you have $1,000 here, right? And you need to know, let's say at 10%, 1 year. So what happening? We can say that you take $1,000 and move it 1 year to the future. Yes or no, guys? Yes. So that's the amount. So now let's have a look at the reverse problem. And reverse problem, if I had 1,100 here, and I want to know how much money I have to invest at 10% to have 1,100 in 1 year, what I have to do? I have to move money to the point of investment. Is that clear? Okay. So first time, the blue version, how we found 110? We did this. S is P1 plus RT. Yes or no? Guys, everybody see that? Okay. Now, what happened when we did reverse problem? We found present value. Yes? Okay, from here, we have a rule. So if I move money, same direction as time, what I did here, in case I used S, right? I use future value formula. So if I move money to the future, together with time, I use future value formula. If I move money opposite direction to time or go to the past, I use present value formula. That's how I choose formula to use. Any questions? Okay, let's do something. So that can be paid off by payments of 872 1 year from now and 1182 years from now. Determine the single payment now that would fully repay a debt and lowest simple interest at 9% PA. So that's now. That's 1 year. How much? 872, right? That's 2 years. 1180. Okay. So where do we need money? Now, right? Is question clear to everybody, guys? Okay. So time fly from left to right. So I need money now. So what I do? I move 872 to the past and I move 1180 to the past. Is that part clear, guys? Okay, so what formula I shall use? What formula I use? Present value. Yes, yes. So x would be 872. 1 plus 009 times 1, negative 1, right? Plus 1180. 1 plus 009 times 2, negative 1. So let's calculate that, please, everybody. Do it. Oh, God. So here I have 800. Thousand. That's my answer. Please confirm the number. Now, question. How much money do we save by paying now? People, how much money do we save? If you don't know, say, I don't know. Okay, originally, I had to pay twice 872 plus 1180, right? Let's add them up. 2052. You may say, well, hold on a second. You just said that money in different time point has different value. Yeah, that's true. But now what I'm doing, I'm counting money, what goes out of my pocket, right? Because everyone understand, I hope, that 872 have interest included in this amount. How much interest if I compare to 800? How much? People, how much interest from 800 I will have 1 year later? 72 bucks, right? Does everyone see that? Guys. Okay, very good. How much interest here? So today is 1,000, 2 years later 1180. So how much is interest? 180. So basically, if I do this, right? That's what it is. What is it? That's amount I save if I pay now. Otherwise, I will have to pay it as interest, right? Same could be found like that. Understood, people? So by paying faster, I don't pay interest. The faster I pay, the less interest I pay. Okay, let's move forward. Two amounts owing from the past were to be paid today. One that was 620 from 1 year ago and another was 925 from 6 months ago. Determine the single payment today that would fully repay the debt. Allow for simple interest at 12%. So let's make a diagram. I always recommend to do that. So now I have 6 months, I have 1 year, that's what before now, right? So 620 here, 925 here, and I have to what? Pay today, right? So time flies from left to right. So it means I move two amounts where? To the future, right? So what formula to use? Future value, yes. So x is 620. 1 plus 0.12 times 1 plus 9.25. 1 plus 0.12, and here I have 6 over 12. So x is, please calculate everybody. Okay. Check my calculations. So that's how much money has to be paid today. And again, if you pay attention, if you compare this two and this two, you probably notice that here we pay more, so we pay amount and interest on top of that amount. So please confirm my number. Any questions, people? Let me know when we're good to go. Of course. So future value. That's what I said before. Guys, have separate piece of paper and write formulas on that piece of paper. That's the future value. Present value. Okay, more questions? Do you have more questions, guys? You're welcome. So can we continue? S, it's a future value. S is future value. We discussed that notifications the moment we started simple interest. So S, future value, P, present value. Okay, let's move forward. Okay, you are owed payments 400 due today, 500 due in 5 months, and 618 due in 1 year. We have been approached to accept single payment 9 months from now. With interest allowed 12% pay, how much will the single payment be? Okay, here people, we ready to introduce so-called focal date. Okay, let's talk about focal date based on these two questions here. Based on these two questions. So technically speaking, to find x, I couldn't just add 872 plus 1180, right? If it was your debt, would you pay $2,052 today? Anybody? Yes or no? Guys, oh, who says yes, you're welcome, I will lend you some money. We discussed here that by paying faster, we pay what? We don't pay interest. How much interest in this case? $252. So $872 included has interest in it. 1180 has interest in it. We just discussed that 2 minutes ago, right? So to find x, we simply cannot add them together. Is that clear, guys? So what we did, we took that amount using present value formula and brought it to day of our interest. It was now in this case, right? Same we did with second amount. We took present value formula and we brought that amount to same day of our interest. Now, these two amounts have same level of interest. This interest is what? In this case, 0, right? Is that part clear? Okay, so this day called focal date. So day in which all the amounts have same level of interest called focal date. So I use usually that. So focal date is now. Now let's discuss same thing here. Anybody can tell me what was the focal date for this question? Focal date is the date to which we bring all the amounts. No. Focal date only one. Well, 620, it's amount. I'm talking about date. Date. So something on a timeline. So you have 3 points. Yes, now is a focal date. So that's the date to which we brought what? All the amounts involved. In this case, we used what? Future value formula. So imagine that somebody has to pay you this too, right? $620 a year before and $925 half a year. Are you willing just to accept these two flat payments, like 620 plus 925? If you do, you forgive all the interest. Do you understand that? Okay, it means you have to what? Calculate interest, and then that's the amount. Then that's the amount. So to do that, you need to bring all the participated amounts to same day, which is focal date. So let's work with the focal date here. See what is the focal date. So we have now 400, 5 months, 500, and 1 year we have 618. That was original agreement. So most likely the person who has to pay this amount couldn't do that. And you have been approached to accept single payments 9 months from now. So somewhere here, you accept single payment. Question is, how much is the single payment? So guys, again, simply add 400, 500, and 618. We cannot. Why? Let's analyze. Because from now to 9 months, 400 will grow some interest. Is that clear? So 500 from point of 5 months to the point of 9 months, again, will grow some interest. So you as a lender, you don't want to lose your interest, right? And borrower will refuse to pay 618 in point of 9 months instead of 9 years. Why? Because 618 includes interest would grow from 9 months to 1 year. Is that clear? So technically speaking, we need all three amounts, all four actually amounts, in the same day. And this day we call focal date. Now, how to choose focal date? Generally speaking, any date can be chosen as a focal date. So it's a matter of negotiation. But for us to be in the same pace, yeah, Alan, 9 months, you're right. But let me explain why. For us to be in the same pace, we need to develop certain rules. Make sense? So, rule number 1. If I have single unknown payment, I choose focal date of this payment. So in this case, 9 months. If I have 2 or more unknown payments, I choose focal date now. That's rule number 2. And third option or rule, focal date is given to us. So they might say, we want you to calculate, to use focal date such and such. Okay? So repeat one more time. If I have single unknown payment, I choose focal date, day of this payment. If I have 2 or more unknown payments, I choose focal date now. Okay? Or it could be option when question says that such focal date has to be used. Any questions, people? Okay, so let's now continue our discussions. Let's analyze question again. So I have here situation when I change agreement. Everybody understand that? Okay, so originally it was agreed to pay 3 times. I marked this in blue. And then for some reason, we don't care what reason, it was renegotiated to pay 1 time. So one more rule I would say, if I change agreement, I need focal date. Remember that. Because later on we will learn demand notes, and we will not use the focal date at all. So for you not to get confused, remember, if I change agreement, I use focal date. And let's calculate what we have here. Agreement 1, A1. What was it? 3 payments, 400, 500, and 618. Which direction I have to move 400 in order to have this amount in the focal date? I go to the right or to the left? To the right. So I put arrow, right? Time flows from left to right as usual. What about 500? To the left or to the right? Same thing, right? What about 618? Left. Okay, now I use rule what I learned like 5 minutes, 10 minutes ago. So 400 I moved together with time. So I use future value formula, right? Now, how much time? What's the distance in time between now and focal date? 9 months, right? So 9/12 plus, so first payment done. 500, second payment. Again, it's future value formula. Now, how much time, what's distance between 500 and focal date? 4 months. Yeah. 4 months. Plus 618, 1 plus 0, 12. How much time? 3 months. 3/12, and that is what? Present value formula. Now take your calculators, people, and calculate agreement 1. Check your calculation with mine, so we have same answers. So comment on that. First of all, confirm my number. Comment on that number. This amount is amount of 3 payments in focal date. Now, agreement 2. Agreement 2, that is single payment X. Right now, somebody tell me which direction we move X. Or do we have to move it at all? So idea is to have all the amounts in the focal date, right? Guys. People. So if everything has to be in the focal date, what's going to happen to value X? Future value or present value? Or something else? Well, guys, X is already in the focal date, so I use it as is. So write this down for yourself. If any amount already located in focal date, we use that amount as is. Is that clear? the way it is. It is X, so we use X. If it was $500, we would take $500. The way it is presented in focal date, that's the way to use it. I think it happened in your life, and when you buy something and they say you buy it as is. So it's broken or not broken, nobody cares. You want it, you buy it as is. So we use it as is. Now, happy moment happened when both agreements calculated in a focal date. So if it is the case, I can say that agreement 1 equals to agreement 2. Why I can do that? Because all of the values have same level of interest. Right, guys? Is that part clear? People. Of course, we're going to practice more and more. So therefore, X is what? 1556. X is 1556. Any questions? Agreement 2. So, or replacement agreement. It's not in the book. I invented that for easier understanding. So I have one agreement. I call it agreement 1. And replacement agreement, I call agreement 2. That's it. Let's see what happened next. Scheduled payment of 400 due now and 700 due in 5 months are to be settled by payment of 500 in 3 months and final payment in 8 months. Determine the amount of final payment at 6% PA using 8 months from now as the focal date. You see, now they're telling us what date they want to use as a focal date. So now 400. Okay. Then 5 months 700. Do we have any other amounts from original agreement? Read question again. Okay, let's read it more carefully. Scheduled payment 400 due now and 700 due months are to be settled by payments. So 500 is already part of new agreement. Do you see that? So scheduled 400 and 700. Instead of that, 500 and something, what we have to know, what we have to find, will be paid instead. So instead of 400 and 700, 500 and X will be paid instead. Do you understand that? Okay, so usually I change colors, I color code, so it's easier to understand, not to make mistakes. So 3 months 500, well, it should be 5. Goodness. Okay. So it's very important to separate agreements. Okay. 8 months X. So it's very important to separate which agreement which. So focal date is here. Time goes from left to right, right? So let's calculate separately two agreements. And then when we do that, we make them what? Equal. So original agreement. One more time, guys. How many payments do I have in original agreement? 2, right? So 400 first. So I go to the right, right? So future value formula. 400, 1 plus 6%. Now, question is, how much time in between 400 and focal date? 8 months. Yes, very good. Very, very good. So 400 done. 700. Again, I move to the right. So again, future value formula. 1 plus 0. No, why 1 month? Think twice. I take from here and I go this way. So how many months is there? 3, yeah. 3 months. So let's calculate, guys. Please take your calculators and do it. Confirm my numbers, people. Please confirm my number. So anybody have answer already? Okay. So that is amount of original agreement in focal date. Now let's calculate agreement 2 or replacement agreement. How many payments I have in agreement 2? 2 payments, right? It's 500 and unknown payment X. So 500, again, I move to the future. So future value formula. How many months? 5. Yes, very good, people. I like the way you think. So X is already there, so we use it what? As is. Let's calculate what we can. So 5, 12, 50 plus X. So this expression is value of agreement 2 in focal date. In focal date. So next step. What do you mean? That's not the formula, that's equation. What happened after I analyze and calculated agreement 2. I know I have two payments, 500 and X. Yes? Is that part clear? Okay. So total value of agreement 2 in focal date would be sum of these two payments in focal date. Agree? Okay. So that, let me take a highlighter. This is 500 in focal date and plus X. So I calculated future value of 500 and I found this. That's how I got this thing. Got it? It's not equation yet. I cannot find X from here, right? So equation is the next step. And next step is following. As soon as I have both agreement calculated in the focal date, and I do, I can say that they are equal in the focal date, right? So therefore, 11, 26, 50 equals 2, 5, 12, 50 plus X. Now I have equation. So please, anybody give me the answer. What is X? Where you got 30? Just 614. 11, 26, 50 minus 5, 12, 50. That is 614. Okay, 614. Guys, that's why I say calculate with me and compare your answers and my answers. Right? So 614, that's the payment. Okay, people, I think we can have a break. That's the question number next. You want me this question on the screen, on that question, or leave this on the screen for the break? Okay, that's the next question. So you might, if you like, you might do something about it, right? Let's have a break till what? Till 9. So be back at 9:00. Okay, guys, morning coffee time break. Okay guys, break is over. So how it's going so far? Any questions? Okay, let's practice then. Practice, practice, practice. So Jeremy had two equal outstanding loans, one from 63 days ago and one from 105 days ago. He repaid both loans today with a single amount of 3,700. If interest is 9% on the loan, what was the size of equal amount borrowed? So now Jeremy pays 3,700. Okay, so 63 days ago I had a known loan, and 105 days ago. So far, any questions? Does everyone understand this example? Okay, very good. So what is the focal date, guys? Any suggestions? So let's refresh rules. If I have, well, which one? 105 days or 63 days? Which one? Yes, exactly. So if I have unknown payment, one unknown payment, I have focal date when this unknown payment is located. If I have two or more, the focal date is now. So focal date. And now what? I see that I have to move two axes to the focal date, right? Guys? And 3,700, because I use it as is because it's already in the focal date, will be equal to two unknown payments or loans. What is it, 105 days, right? Plus x, 1 plus 009, 63 days. Both are future value formulas, right? That's our equation. So any questions, people? Does everyone understand what I just did? Okay, so let's calculate. Let's solve this equation, basically. Do it. And I'm doing that as well. So 1. And these coefficients, these numbers, I do not round or alterate or do anything to them. I use them as is. So, and I use calculator's memory. As soon as I calculate it, I remember it, put it to the memory. For example, STO1, right? So times x plus. So in the future, I don't have to put it back manually, because what? It increases chances of the mistake. Okay. So 3,700 equals 2, 4, 2, 4, 6 times x. So x is 18, 12, 46. I don't know why in earth he needed so well. I know that he borrowed amount, right? I don't know how much, but I know that he did it 105 days ago, right? So obviously that from that moment till today, this amount will grow some interest. Is that part clear? Okay, so that's what I did. I took a known amount X and I put it to the future 405 days. Same I did with the second amount. That's the same amount X, but it will produce interest for next 63 days. So that's what I did. And then magic I call algebra, black magic. So I calculated coefficients, I add them up, and I found X. So amount he borrowed twice was $1,812.46. Is that part clear? Okay, very good. So can we continue? Okay, 1 second. Okay, so Clarkson Development was supposed to pay Majestic Flooring 2,060 days ago and 1,800 in 30 days. Majestic Flooring agreed to accept 3 equal payments due today, 60 days from today, and 120 days from today. Compute the size of the equal payments at 10% PA. Use today as a focal date. Well, we already know that it has to be today, right? Because what? We have 3 unknown payments. So now, or today, now. So let's analyze. Supposed to pay 2,060 days ago. So 60 days, 2,000. And 1,800 in 30 days. So 30 days, 1,800. So any other payments what Clarkson Developments has to pay Majestic Flooring? Oh, that's it. Guys, is there any other payments except these two what's supposed to be paid? No. So it is original agreement, right? So they didn't pay 60 days ago, bad guys. So what is the chance that they're gonna pay in 30 days, right? Therefore, we have to renegotiate a deal and say, come on, guys, we need money, right? So, and what this money is, 3 equal payments. One is today, one is 60 days, and one is 120 days. So is that part clear? Does everyone understand the question? Okay, so we have more than one unknown payment. On top of that, they say today is a focal date. So Because each of the agreements has more than one amount, I prefer to calculate them separately. So agreement 1 or original agreement, what I have two what payments, right? First payment, I move to the right. It means together with time. So I will use what? Future value formula for what? 60 days. Second amount, it's in the future, so I'm not willing to pay excessive interest. I have to what? Take it back for 30 days using what? Present value formula. So let's calculate agreement 1. What is it? And by all means, people, if you have question, please ask. So those are my two values in focal date. If you pay closer attention, you will notice that 2000 grew by $32.88, and 1800 what became smaller amount. Why? Because I stripped the interest. Do you guys see that? Okay. So this much, $3,818 and change, that's the amount of agreement 1 in focal date. Now let me deal with agreement 2. And agreement 2 has 3 unknown payments, right? First payment I use as is because it's already in the focal date. So next to what I need to bring back in time using what? Present value formula. Here is 60 days and what? Minus 1 plus x. Here is 120 days. Make sure, guys, you understand all the numbers what I have here. Oh, now let me see if I have extra page. No, I don't. Okay. Eight, 3, 8. 4, 9, 3 times x plus. And again, I memorize that in the calculator's memory. 96. So at this moment, I remember that here in front of x, I have 1, right? $95, 199, 7255x. So that is agreement 2 in focal date. So lack of space, so I put here. So now A1 equals A2, right? So it means 3/8. I put here on the top 18. 21 equals 2. 2.95 1997 255 times x. And so x is what? 1,293.43. Okay, guys, finish your calculations. Ask me questions if you have. And of course, let me know when you're done so we can continue our practice. So guys, how it's going? Have you finished your calculations yet? Okay. So if no questions, let's move forward. A loan of 2,000 made at 8.5% PA is to be repaid in 4 equal payments due at the end of the next 4 quarters, respectively. Determine the size of the quarterly payments if the agreed focal date is the date of the loan. Okay, so let's make a picture. Loan. It's a present value always. 4 payments, 4 quarters, so 3 months payment, 6 months payment, 9 months payment, and 12 months payment. Focal date is what? Day of the loan. Okay, guys, would you like to have some time on your own to do it? Okay, so let's take what, 3 minutes for you to start, and then I will do it with you. Okay, guys, so what do we have here? 2000 on one side has to be equal to 4 payments today in a focal date. All 4 what I take back in time, it means I will use present value formula. So 1 plus 0.085, right? 3 over 12, negative 1, plus second payment, 6 over 12, negative 1, plus third payment, 9 over 12, negative 1, and plus fourth payment, well, some mess here. And I put here 12 over 12, right? So 2000 equals. So now we calculate those coefficients, in other words, whatever we can. Okay, 0, 9, 7, 9, 1. Again, I memorize those values into calculator's memory and then just recall them when time comes to calculate total. Okay. Zero 94. Okay, and one more term. Plus 92. Okay, so 2000 equals to 3.8005472 times x. From here, 526.29. So that's the size of payment. People, I have a question. How much interest we gonna pay here? No for focal date. Okay, let's play this game again. You, say I, borrowed $2,000 at 8.5% interest. So do you really expect to pay 2,000 and that's it? You have to pay interest on top. Is it right? Is it, guys? Do you understand that part? Okay, so question is how much interest you're gonna pay. You already know size of the payment, right? So you borrowed 2,000 and you paid $526.29 four times. What is interest? If you don't know, say I don't know. No. Oh, come on. Can you imagine that interest? 105.16, yes. 105.16. So interest, when you pay back loan, interest amount, it's a difference between how much you pay. So 4 times 526.29. That's the difference between how much you pay and how much you borrowed. And that is 105.16. So remember that in case of you paying loan back, interest, it's a difference between amount you paid and amount you borrowed. Okay, can we continue? Okay, let me see what do we have next. Okay, let's do this few questions and we call for today. Scheduled payment of 800 due 2 months ago and 1200 due in 1 month are to be repaid by payment 1000 today and the balance in 3 months. What is the amount of the final payment if interest is 775 and the focal date 1 month from now? Okay, guys, I offer you 1 minute to create a timeline, make a picture, then I will make it and we compare what happened. Okay, do it. Okay, so let me do it. Two months ago, 800. Now, 1 month. That's one. That's month. 1200. So no more values to agree to original agreement, right? $1,000 today and 3 months is balance. Okay. They want focal date 1 month. That's the third option when focal date is stated, right? And what? It doesn't follow any rules what we know, what we agreed on. Right? Normally we would choose what? 3 months, right, guys? So now compare your picture and my picture. It has to be the same. So let's work agreement by agreement. 800, I put what? To the future. 1 plus Okay, 0.0775. And I have, how many months I have here, people? 3. Very good. Plus 1200 is already in the focal date, so I use it as is. So 815, 50 plus 1200 equals, so what is it, $2,015.50. That's agreement 1. So agreement 2, that $1,000, so it has to be moved to the future, and X, I have to put it back. So 1,000, 1 plus 0.0775. What I have, 1 month, right? Plus X, and I have 2 months present value. So let's calculate agreement 2. So 1006.46 plus 0.9872. Okay, that is agreement 2. That is agreement 2. Now it is time when I make them equal, right? So A1 equals A2. Therefore, 2015 50 equals to this. $98. So X, guys, calculate what is X. Somebody give me answer. What is X? Well, not really. Not really. That's the one. So what you have to do, you have to take, yeah, you have to take this amount and take it, what, to the left, changing sign, and then whatever result is, divide this result on this coefficient. So chapter 2.5, that's for you to go and refresh how to solve equations. So any question regarding that exercise? What in agreement 1? What is the question? 3 months. Okay. Let's analyze. Well, how do I know? First, let's read the question. That's from the question how I know. Schedule payments of 800 due 2 months ago and 1,200 due in 1 month. So far I know there are two payments. Then I read are to be repaid. So it tells me that this two not active anymore, right? And they were changed for payment of 1,000 today and some amount in the future in 3 months. So originally, what was original agreement? 800 and 1,200, right, Ludmila? And instead of that, we pay 1,000 today and unknown payment in 3 months. So that is replacement agreement. So is that more clear? Okay, very good. Now, how to store numbers? Well, step by step. Let me answer question why 3 months here. So what's happening? I'm taking 800 and I move it what? Here. Yes, people? Yes or yes? Who's asked this question? Are you following me? Okay, so now I travel till now. How many months? 2 months. But I'm not in the focal date. I have to go what? 1 extra month in order for me to get to the focal date. That's why 2 plus 1 is 3. Understood? So I take 2 points, starting point A, finishing point B, and whatever distance in between, that's my distance in time. Right? Now, how do I store values? Well, on calculator, I use, the moment I calculate something, I put STO, stands for store, and then I have numbers from 0 to 9. So I choose any number I want. Let's say this value, I put store 1, for example, right? Then when time comes to use it, instead of keying in back manually, I call function recall. And again, it's from 0 to 9. In this case, I would call recall 1. So if I STO 1, I would recall 1. Okay? But that depends on your calculator. You might have different what calculators options. So we still have a few minutes. How many questions we have? 2. So promissory notes we will leave for the next time. Actually, not next time. Next time will be a review for the test. So you will have plenty of work to do. Let's read. Payments of 4,000 each, due 4, 9, and 11 months. So how many payments I have? Guys, 3. Very good. And then I read, are to be settled by 2 equal payments. It means what? Those 3 payments, they were original agreement or agreement 1, right? And are to be settled by 2 equal payments. So those 2 equal payments are to be agreement 2 or replacement agreement, due today and 12 months from now. What is the amount of equal payment? If interest is this one, blah, blah, blah. Focal date is today. So let's have a picture. So it's now. And I have 4 months, 4K. I have 9 months, 4K. And I have 11 months, 4K. So that is what? Original agreement, right? Now, Instead of that, I pay today and I pay in 12 months. That is what? Replacement agreement. So guys, does everyone understand for now till this moment? Focal date is now. Of course, if even they didn't say anything about focal date, because I have two unknown payments, I would choose it now anyhow, right? So let's work again. Sometimes, remember when we had a loan repaid with single payment, I didn't separate agreements. I just made them equal on a spot. Here I have each of them more than one payment, so I find this easier and more accurate and neat and understandable to solve it separately. So each of 4,000 what has to be put back to the focal date, right? So all of them I will use what? Present value formula. So what I have? 7.35%. Okay, first one is 4 months, right? Okay, second one. That's 9 months, right? And finally, the third one, that is 11 months. So let's calculate what is that. Guys, please confirm my numbers. Okay. Three, 7, 4, 5, 51. So agreement 1 is what? $11,440.87. So please guys finish your calculations and confirm my number. So if quick analysis, 4,000 times 3, what is it? 12,000, right? So that 12,000 has interest embedded in it, right? So if I pay faster, which is today what? I pay what? 500, almost $60 less. So let me know when you're done and we can continue for agreement 2. Okay, so agreement 2, I have two unknown payments. First is today, which is focal date, so I use it as is. Second one is what? 12 months in the future. So I have to take it back in time. (12/12) minus 1. So x plus 0.093 32371 times x. So A2 equals 1.93. And guys, remember that in front of x always stays what? 1, right? Now time has come. I make increments equal. So A1 equals A2. And therefore 11,440.87 equals to this 193,153,2371x. And from here, what is x? $5,923.21. Questions, guys? Okay, let's have one more. Oh, you guys want to go? We can do it next time. Okay, how do you put? You use 1 over x. Button 1 over x. Okay, let me. So it is a button 1 over x, or x minus 1, depends on your calculator. Or you can use y to exponent x, then 1 plus minus equals. But that's the long way, right? So usually you have either or. Either 1 over x or x to exponent minus 1. Okay? Okay, very good. So this we don't have time to do. It's on the slides. You can do it on your own. If you have a question, you can ask. For promissory notes, we will do when time comes. Okay, I don't know, I was too optimistic. So that's your homework. That's regarding today's material, exercise 7.5. And I hope that you listened to what I said and you was practicing review exercises for chapter 5 and chapter 6. So next time, Monday, we will have review before test based on those 2 chapters. And you can ask, I prefer when we have Q&A session. If you don't have questions, of course, I will have something to offer from my side. And Wednesday will be test 1. Okay, guys, if you have no more questions, I would say yes, only chapter 5 and 6. Only chapter 5 and 6. Okay, if you have no more questions, guys, thank you for the class, and have a nice rest of the week, and see you Monday. Bye-bye.